Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everybody? How's everyone doing today? So just give it a couple seconds here. Let everyone join up. We will then hop right into it. Let me know if the audio sounds good. Let me know if the video looks good. And then we'll just get going. What's up, Cash? How you doing, bro? Cool. Okay, so appreciate y'all tuning in here. I see we got about 15 viewers, so we'll just kind of get started. As always, these are left up on YouTube, so you can always go watch them after the fact if you miss it or you missed part of it, or you just want to hear the sounds of my voice a little bit more, because who doesn't? So this is the third live weekly Metals with Mayne video stream. Obviously, before we start, just got to say thanks again to Prime XBT for making this happen. Check them out, guys. It's actually a really cool platform. You can trade gold, you can trade silver with crypto, you can trade all sorts of stuff on there. You can get a 50% deposit bonus by using the link I have in the description. I believe it's Mayne50. Check it out. Click on the link, check it out, deposit some money. You get 50% of that as a bonus, which is pretty awesome. So you can start trading right away. So you can show them some appreciation by doing that. Use the platform, follow them on Twitter. And obviously, a last reminder here, nothing discussed by this metal bird is constituted as financial advice. You should always do your own research in any kind of investing or trading. I don't need to tell you guys that. You guys know that, but just in case you don't, none of this is financial advice. That being said, hopefully you guys have been following along, because the last two streams we've laid out the PA in gold very well, and what we've been kind of predicting is this stair-stepping down, which is what we're seeing play out here so far on gold. Silver has not really given me a defined setup that I like yet, so I haven't hopped in anything on silver, unfortunately, on stream. But gold, this trade was an absolute banger, and I ended up getting short in this Jerome Powell wick here. I closed that short out, and I'll explain why. I'll also explain the entry, because this did happen very fast. And obviously, as we did in the last two videos, I'll kind of go over what's happened, what I'm seeing now, and what I'm expecting for next week. Hopefully, we can get you guys and girls in a trade, and hopefully you can be making some money. And if you're signed up on Prime XBT, you can trade this stuff with me live. So let's start with gold. So as you can see, these are the exact same levels. All I've done is add levels as price action has progressed, but these are the levels from the very first stream where we shorted here, right? And then I showed you that low time frame entry to get in for you low time frame traders. The reason I'm focusing on the H4, maybe down to the H1 for my potential setups, is that's my most consistent time frame for execution. The way that time frames fold into each other, they're fractal in nature, right? So an H1 candle is just four 15-minute candles. So the more that you kind of understand that concept, the less important time frames become, because I know that this H4 green candle, right, could be four H1 candles, a white one, a black one, a white one, and then a black one make up one H4 up candle, right? So as soon as you realize how the time frames kind of layer on top of each other, it becomes a little easier. And any concept that I show you here is applicable on any time frame. The key tenets that you need to have for a setup, though, is a high time frame premise, and then a low time frame, a high time frame, directional bias or premise, a high time frame level to look for your setup, and then on the low time frame, you need an entry trigger that allows you to get in on the trade with a very defined risk. And I'll go over an example of that on the charts here. But that high time frame premise and that high time frame level, that's up to you. That could be a weekly directional bias and a weekly level, and then executing on the H4, which is usually what I do, or it's the daily. Or the high time frame could be the hourly, and then maybe you're entering on the 5-minute. It works the same, but you want to be in line. You do want to have top-down analysis. Where your top-down starts from, weekly, daily, H4, hourly, 15-minute, 5-minute, that's up to you. What works for you, what your schedule's like, when you're on screen, how you want to trade. Do you mind holding a trade for days? Do you want to be in and out? That's up to you. But the highest probability trades that you're going to have are going to be ones where the low time frame entry that we're taking is in line with the high time frame trend and a high time frame level, right? Which is why that low time frame entry here works so well, because we're in line with all the high time frame stuff. So we'll go over an example of that in a bit here. But last week we talked about potential bullishness on the dollar. I saw the dollar kind of forming a base here, as you can see. Didn't go so well, but I saw the dollar forming a base here. When was the last video? 7 days ago, the 21st. So let's just say, boom. Okay, this is where we were last week. And I said, okay, this potentially, and me and also a lot of people on Twitter were watching this. We're seeing this and we're saying, okay, this could be a range forming, right? Because this thing has just been getting slaughtered, right? Getting slaughtered. There's been no basing since up here. This was the last time it ranged, broke down, trend down. Right? Formed a base here, broke down, trend down. So for it to reverse, right, it needs to form a base, but then it needs to break to the upside, obviously, to get a reversal, because price moves in 3 distinct patterns, right? There's accumulation, right? There's the trend, right, or expansion, and then there's either distribution and then expansion to the downside and then accumulation, right? You can also rename these, right, to accumulation, and then maybe it's reaccumulation and then further expansion, right? So, but that's the only 3 ways that price moves, right? So on any time frame, you will see this happening in price. You will see price going sideways, right? And then you will see it expanding, and then it's either going to reaccumulate and continue, or it's going to distribute and then reverse. And so what we're looking for shorts on gold is weakness in the dollar. So I went in depth on this in the last video. I absolutely suggest you guys watch because it's a very important concept when you're trading gold, right? You need to know what the dollar index is doing, because if we see weakness here, right? Oh, sorry. I got that backwards. If we see strength here, because I was hoping this was going to be bullish, right? This fraction as a whole goes down. So that's gold shorts, right? And vice versa for the other way. So I was expecting some strength on the dollar. So what I want to see for a potential trend change, because this is a major downtrend, right? This has been going down almost the entire year, right? Well, not almost the entire year. Since March, it's been going down 6 months. So it's got to form a base, right? So it attempted to form a base here. It broke down. And it's attempting to form a base here. We've got a range, but I wanted to see something like this, right? For gold weakness. And so what we saw, right, if we kind of tick along here, and this is silver too. Gold and silver, same thing here when we're comparing it to dollar strength. If I want to see shorts on this, on those 2 pairs, I want to see strength on the dollar here, right? And so we had that strength happen a little bit right here, right? So we came in and then we saw a big spike up, and this happened right when Jerome Powell was speaking and doing his announcements. So you guys should all follow Forex calendar. Just go on Google, type in Forex calendar, and you'll have a calendar of all the important events in FX, newsworthy, and then they rate them, they color code them by their level of impact. And so you can pay attention to that when you're looking for trades. Maybe you don't want to trade again during those times. Maybe you do. And you can see here, right, what is the time on this H4 candle? August 27th, 1300. August 27th, 1100, right? So the correlation is very clear here. This spike up on the dollar is what gave us that move up in gold, which ended up giving me my entry, right? Here, I started shorting. But then once I saw price on the dollar index actually start getting more bearish, I'm going to go back to one chart here, right? So I got my entry based on this spike up in the dollar index, bringing us right near our short zone. I was lucky to be in front of the computer because I was trading this day. So I just market shorted here. So you're not always going to get the perfect touch of your level, right? Like here, it just barely touched, right? So if you had limit orders in here, you're not getting filled. Sometimes you got to know when to market in. I mean, it's not always going to happen. If you had limit orders here, you just missed the trade. That happens, right? There will be another trade. But so I marketed in here. And then I started watching this on low time frame. And when we crashed hard here, I started closing immediately because anytime you enter, I didn't get in on the exact wick. I think I got in on the way up here. As soon as we crashed hard here, I knew that this was just like a manipulated move based on that spike in the dollar and the announcement. So I started closing off the position relatively quickly, but I had a loose stop. So I was prepared for this to be, kind of a swing trade, right? So I entered, let's say here, my stop was all the way up here. Right, so even though I didn't get a new lower low, which is the ideal situation, even to here is a 2 to 1, right? And I ended up exiting most of my trade around 2R in this consolidation because basically what I saw is I saw us kind of forming a base here. So once we had this huge drop down, I saw a base form, right? We had a low, a high, a higher low, right? And this looked to me like, okay, this is potentially turning a little bit bullish or at least basing. And then you can see here, there's your kind of OTE entry that I've showed you guys there before, right? So if I take a fib from here to here, right into the 0.79, right into that order block, it started basing, and the other trigger for me to get out was the dollar, right? As soon as the dollar had this spike, it started rolling over. So as soon as the dollar started rolling over, what does that mean? Weakness in the dollar, right? What does that mean? Potential bullishness for this. So I don't want to be in shorts, and that's exactly what you saw, right? You see bearishness on the dollar, and you see both gold and silver pushing up, right? So now the question is, are we looking to continue to short gold and silver, or are we potentially flipping bullish, right? So it all comes down to the dollar to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete all my levels here. Delete all my levels here. I'm just going to look at the dollar here because this is where I thought we might bottom. We are not. I mean, we're right at this low. To me, I doubt we just bounce. I think we go lower now on the dollar, so I don't really want to be shorting gold and silver this coming week. This looks to me like it's going to go down further. So if I'm zooming way the fuck out, pardon my French, this is the beauty of trading traditional markets, commodities and stuff, right? You have so much price history, right? Bitcoin, the 3-month chart, there's barely anything there. So I have a key level here that we're right on. This is kind of like a 3-month order block. But if I'm looking at this price action, I mean, this looks really weak. This looks really weak. So it looks like basically we've got kind of, a high here, a low. This looks like a clear lower high. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to take out this low, but it doesn't bode well for strength of the dollar to, continue its, smashing bull run. This is a pretty nasty rejection in here. And then you can see here as well, right? We came up, wicked into the tops here, and then we've rejected pretty hard. So if I'm looking at the dollar on the 3-month chart, the levels that I care about, this is super high time frame, are these two. So it's the open of this bearish candle, and it's the open of this bullish candle. This is a bearish order block. This is a bullish order block. To me, this defines a range where we could see price trade between, assuming it finds support. So I'm of the mindset that that the dollar will find support somewhere between 89.97, let's just call it 90, and 92.30. It doesn't have to bounce from exactly where it is right now. Funny how it closed right on that level. So that level from January 1, 2018, that's exactly where we closed this week at. But I'm of the mindset that we're going to find support in here, and eventually we are going to get a push up towards this level. Now this is super macro we're looking at right now, but let's say we dip into here. If we come up here and we reject, okay, this is super macro. I don't mean to be looking all the way out to 2025, but let's just assume the next 3 months, right? I'll zoom in a little bit here. Zoom into the weekly. Let's assume we come up here, right, and look right where that quarterly level is. There's a weekly order block here too. Right, so let's assume over the coming weeks, we move up like this, right, and then we reject from here. You're going to want to be short or longing the heck out of gold, out of silver, out of Bitcoin. Anything that's based against the dollar, Euro USD, right? GUSD. Because if we have a rejection from here, if we see, so on the way up, arguably this would be bearish for all of these pairs. But if we reject here at this high time frame level and place in at a lower high here, I think that we're going to see major bull movement, super macro thought here on all of these assets, or all of these pairs, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Okay, that's a macro view. So I think macro, somewhere between here and here, we're going to see a bounce, and I'm expecting price eventually to come up and test this level. On the way up to this level, that's going to be bearish on all those pairs I had written out. And then if we have a rejection from this level, that's going to be uber bullish on all those pairs that I had just written out. Okay? So what does that mean for us next week? It doesn't really tell us much next week. That's a very macro view on the dollar. And I know this is a metals stream, but these metals trades are contingent on what the dollar is doing. I think I've made that part very clear. And if you don't believe me, let's just show you here on the weekly chart. So where's the top here? March 16th. Okay, do you believe me now? Right? So the correlation is very clear. So I want to know where this is going from a macro perspective, and it's silly to think otherwise, and people are silly to think that Bitcoin is not the exact fucking same. Right? Tell me that that correlation is not important. As soon as the dollar topped and it's been going straight down, what have both Bitcoin and gold been doing? So you want to pay attention. So metals with Mayne is actually where the fuck's the dollar going, and let's trade the opposite direction on metals. So does that all make sense to you guys, what I'm saying here? I hope this isn't boring. I hope you guys find this valuable. Now I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes here and give you some trade ideas. Blink twice if you're with me. There's 43 of you watching, so Cash can't be the only one typing, or the only one with a keyboard. So we want to know where this is going. So now let's dial in here. Where is this thing gonna bounce, right? So I do think we're gonna find some support somewhere around here. I don't hate this level that we're at right now, right? So we could start basing around here, okay? But to me, this looks kind of bearish already. So if you're looking at the daily, we already got 2 taps here, okay? So maybe we see a move up towards here and then potential continuation to the downside. So if we see a little bit of a move up here and then we're going to see downside continuation early next week, that would be a potential opportunity for a long on gold. Okay. Otherwise, where I'm looking, right? So I want to find price action in between these two levels, right? And as you can see, there's a bit of a gap here, right? So I mean, if I zoom in here, right? This is a pretty inefficient move, relatively inefficient move here, right? So I would not be surprised if the dollar just comes in and fills in some of this PA. So I don't hate this level here, right? So essentially 91. So gun to my head, where do I think dollar is going to do next week? Is I think we'll get some sort of bounce here. Right? Because I mean, this just sold off super hard. This is a quarterly level, right? So ideally, we get some sort of bounce. And if we get some sort of bounce here, right, that would signal weakness on gold and silver, right? But then if I'm expecting this to trade lower, right, because what do we have forming here, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low. Anticipate what? A lower high and probably a lower low. So I'm going to essentially anticipate further weakness on the dollar towards 91.50 and 91, okay, which is going to make me hunt longs on gold and silver. Okay, so early in the week, ideally, this might not happen. We might drop straight away. But if we don't, if we're able to kind of form a base here a little bit, like let's see, zoom right in. I mean, this isn't great look, but if we can form a base here, right? Low, high, higher, low. This is rounding off, which I don't like. But if we can form a base here and manage to trade up into that level I was talking about here, that will cause gold and silver to go down. And that move down is where we want to be looking to get long for a trade up. So what does that look like on gold and silver? Right? So the first thing I'm looking at is right here. Let's see. Yeah, I like that daily level there. All right, so I was watching this for a short, but now that I'm seeing this continued weakness on the dollar, I don't know if I like it as much. To me, I like this level up here. And I like this level. Let's see what's on the 12-hour. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just flipping through time frames, right? I'm just trying to see, right? All this price action here on the H12, right? Right, those two candles, that just forms that one candle here. So I'm just flipping through, looking at levels I like, and I think I like this one here at 90.70. Because if I zoom in now, right, that 97 level, it's basically this consolidation here. We're right into that level now, right? So to me, my thought process is pretty simple. This looks like it's potentially a higher low forming with that weakness on. So if we can get a move above here, I'm expecting a draw up into this area here. Run this high into this consolidation here, which is also, I took that from the higher time frame. So that would be kind of my draw on price for a long on gold. So if we see that early week move up on the dollar and then a rejection, what I want to be doing is essentially looking for gold to pull back from this level into an area where I can get long, which would be the kind of sweet spot right here is where I'd ideally be looking. So there's two triggers I'm going to be watching for here on gold. This might be it. It might be super shallow. So right at the start of the week, right, if we just launch It's because we've already come and tested this level, right? Move up, retest. So we could move right away. So if that's the case, if next week the dollar just drops, I want to see this high get taken out. So move up, and I'm buying a retest of 1970, okay, with a stop below this low here. Whatever swing low, so this might not be the swing low, but whatever swing low causes the move, so this is the swing low for now, causes the move to take out this high, that's where my stop goes. And then I'm buying the retest here, stop below that swing low. Let's assume the dollar falls off to start the week. This swing low, and then this moves up, takes out this high. It might not retest this level perfectly, but once this high gets taken out, any sort of pullback towards this level, I'm looking to get long with my stop below that swing low, okay, targeting the 2025 level. Okay, that's easily a 3 or 4R trade. You could have your stop even looser, and it'll still be nice. Okay? Alternatively, if we see some strength on the dollar early in the week, okay? Early in the week, strength on the dollar, and then that causes this to pull back. I'm going to be looking to long lower. So I don't love this because of this wick. It's kind of annoying, but ignore the wick for now. Let's get this going here. Ignore the wick for now. I don't know if we get this deep, right? Ideal situation is to long way down here, right, for a major leg up. I don't know if we come that deep. If we do, I'm longing it, right? So if we get initial strength in the dollar early in the week and gold falls off, you know, 1.5%, even down to the 50, right? And then the dollar comes into that area that I talked about here and then rejects, I'm going to be looking to long the shit out of this down here. I don't know if it comes this deep. We might come more shallow, right? Like maybe we recome and we retest, you know, this previous high here. We've already tested it though. So those are kind of the two main scenarios I'm looking for. I don't know how likely this deep pullback is, but if we see early in the week dollar strength, and then it looks to reject at that level that I showed you guys here, right? Early in the week strength, right? Reject from the level here. So this move up into here and reject, move up towards 93 and reject. We're looking to long gold from 1940 down to 1930 for a big old swing. So your stop would go way down here for a big old swing to up here. Okay. Ignore that for now. All right, so again, that's going to be at least a 3R depending on where you put your stop. If we get dollar weakness right off the bat, if the dollar just melts down towards that next level I have is 91.50, if this just rolls early in the week, right, you want to be doing that first long setup that I showed you. My charts are getting super messy here, and I hate it. That first setup that I showed you, right? Boom. Once this high's taken out, right? Wherever that swing low is, let's assume here, longing the pullback towards this level, towards there. Okay? Hopefully that is super duper clear. Awesome. So let's talk about silver now. So same bias for silver that I just gave you for gold, obviously different levels, right? So let's look at silver high time frame here. Silver actually looks a little bit more bullish than gold. Right? Like we kind of, you know, it's kind of just, you know, some sort of wedge here. I don't know what you want to call it, but you know, this looks more bullish than gold. So silver, And I know I'm getting towards my half-hour limit here, so I'm going to try and power through. So silver, I see nothing there. I see nothing there that I really want to mark. Actually, yes. There's our draw. Okay. Same idea on silver now. Okay. So if we get early in the week, just pure weakness on gold, right? Or on the dollar, sorry. Pure weakness on the dollar. Okay. This is the SR flip that I want you to long. So if the dollar just drops off early in the week, I want you to long an SR flip of this and an SR flip of this, targeting the highs, targeting 30. Because if you remember, why is 30 important? Right? That macro fib. Right? You know, the EQ of the entire fib of this entire move is like 30. So that's kind of your draw there on silver. So again, very similar, right? Stop if we flip this level. So if dollar is weak right off the rip, big green candle through here, stop below the gray, pullback is a long. Alternatively, you wait for some price action setup at this gray level here, right? You could wait for this, right? And then once that high gets taken out, stop goes down here, you're longing there, or alternatively, wait for us to clear this 28 level, right? And then pull back, stop down there, whatever level, whatever low causes the move through there, you can place your stop, continuation, okay? But silver's looking quite bullish. Now, this is resistance for now. And so if dollar has some strength early in the week, like I talked about, same as gold here. So if we get that early week move up, what I want to see is silver pull back. And ideally, we pull back to something like this area right here. So, I mean, we've kind of already tested it on that wonky candle, but I still like it. If we get that early week strength on the dollar, you want to pull back into 2640 to 2670. You want to long it, stop below these lows. Again, targeting here first and then ultimately targeting that 30 level. So those would be my two potential long setups based on how the dollar works, right? So I'm going to have to change the title of this show to include the dollar because it is extremely relevant. Someone told me where the object tree got moved to. Aha. I am a genius. Thank you for whoever DM'd me that. That's very helpful. That's all hinging on the dollar getting some bounce, right? So those two deep retracement long entries, right? So if we see a bounce here up into this area, and then we don't want to just see pure strength, right? If we charge up here and then we flip this area here, if we flip 93, right, we're back to hunting shorts, okay? Because then this is going to run up into here, 95. But if we come up into this area and then reject, we're looking for those deep retracement longs. If we just melt and roll over, weak starts, and this just starts dropping towards 91.50, we're going to be looking for those continuation longs. Okay, so I'm at my cap here at 30 minutes. I'd love to go on, but I'm trying to keep these short and concise. So crystal clear, wonderful. Yep, oui, bonjour, fantastic. No, this is great. Yes, not boring at all. Awesome. Okay, so love my Aussie accent. I'm from Canada. I'm not Aussie. 3-digit music is alive. Ben, thumbs up. I'm not from Australia. That's interesting. I've been told I have quite a strong Canadian accent, but we'll take it. Next video will be same time, same place, Friday. Can you do a COT? So COT, guys, stands for Commitment of Traders. It's a report that gets sent out. It essentially shows you where people are positioned in the market, long or short. It has money managers, institutional players, as well as retail. So you can glean some interesting information from those types of reports in terms of determining, okay, where is the consensus? Is everyone long? Is everyone short? Is it kind of mixed? And then you can use that as kind of a sentiment indicator. I will look at that Azam next week. Okay, I don't have time to cover it today. Next week, I will look at that commitment traders analysis for the US dollar. I can do it for gold and silver as well, and we can talk about it. Yeah, if you have any questions, anything like that, just DM me, shoot me a message. I have been doing my best to answer the DMs, so please don't be scared. Yeah, this is a big breakout. I mean, this looks like a pretty good stock to be in. It's only going up, but so is everything, right? You think Peloton looks good. Look at Apple, bro. Look at this shit. Fucking flying Apple. So, I mean, I'm still bullish on the stock market for continuation. So, I mean, pretty much long all stocks until they turn the money printer off. But that will be for another stream. I'm going to do a kind of just more general stream. I'll cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, some stocks and stuff, maybe on Sunday. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Please show your support if you really enjoy me doing these videos and you want me to keep doing them, please show your support to Prime XBT. I'm really appreciative of them sponsoring me to do this. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't want to stop doing these videos. So check out their thing and just make an account and deposit some money. You get a 50% deposit. It doesn't cost you anything. You can trade these setups with me and it will really help me out continuing to doing these things for you guys. So I will see you back here next Friday, same time. Love you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. Thanks again.